Another day, another story. Culinary colonialism. How your pumpkin spice latte ignites cultural erasure. The story of spices is not merely one of culinary delight. It's a tale marred by colonial brutality, economic exploitation, and the inhumane treatment of countless Indians over centuries. The quest for spices is one of the darker chapters of human history, where the aromatic subtleties we enjoy today came at a cataclysmic cost. Spices as currency. The age of exploration. Long before the concept of pumpkin spice, spices like cinnamon, cloves, and nutmeg were so highly prized that they served as a form of currency. These spices didn't just flavor food, they preserved it, healed bodies, and were even believed to ward off evil spirits. Their value was so immense that European nations launched overseas expeditions, marking the beginning of the age of exploration in the 15th century. The immediate destination? India, and later the Spice Islands, known today as Indonesia. But these explorations were not innocent enterprises, they were brutal campaigns to establish monopolies on spice trade routes and production centers. The first wave. Portuguese domination. The Portuguese were among the first to establish their dominance, led by Vasco da Gama, who arrived in Calicut in 1498. What began as trade soon transformed into violent territorial control. Entire towns like Calicut and Goa were besieged and captured, their citizens massacred or enslaved. Spices were hoarded and shipped back to Europe, generating enormous wealth for the colonizers while decimating the local populations both economically and physically. The Dutch and English. Amplification of exploitation. Following the Portuguese, the Dutch and the English, under the flags of their respective East India companies, entered the fray. In India, the Dutch focused on the Malabar coast while the English initially established themselves in Surat. Over time, both nations employed divide and conquer strategies, triggering conflicts among local rulers and exploiting these divisions. When diplomacy failed, they resorted to sheer military might, pillaging towns, imposing heavy taxes, and causing famines. Commodification and dehumanization. The exploitation wasn't restricted to economic pillaging alone. Colonial rulers viewed Indian lives as expendable in the quest for spice riches. Forced labor, unimaginable working conditions, and near-starvation wages were commonplace. Women and children were not spared. They too were ensnared in this web of exploitation, often suffering physical and sexual violence. The continuance. Modern-day neocolonialism. Though colonial rule has ended, the exploitation has taken on subtler forms. Economic disparities perpetuated by the global trade system still disadvantage spice farmers in India, keeping them in poverty cycles, while Western corporations reap massive profits. A flavor steeped in tears. So, the next time the scent of cinnamon wafts through the air, remember that this is a fragrance steeped in tears, a flavor extracted from the depths of human suffering. It is a legacy that must not be forgotten. Let the spices in your pumpkin spice, or should we say, Bharat blend, serve not just as a treat to your senses, but as a sobering reminder of the violent chapters from which they emerged. It is not a mere call for political correctness but a plea for historical consciousness, ethical consumption, and above all, humanity. By expanding our understanding of the roots of these spices, we can work toward a more equitable and respectful future, doing justice to the past while enriching our present. Thanks for watching.